close the door behind me because I know that it will be more satisfying for some. You know what? I just realized I'm hungry. Hold on. Are you a cutie? Are you a cutie? Are you a cutie? Are you happy? Hey! It's Annabelle. How are you? The main reason I wanted to sit down to do this Q&A is because I've changed my channel name. I definitely wanted to offer some kind of explanation to that. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time now. I felt that cat creature, just a name itself in my channel, it's not streamlined with everything else in my life. Maybe like back in the day, I made a mistake when I started my Instagram as Piper Blue and started running with that name for my art brand and my artist moniker and everything. But like, I really grew into that. And cat creature was something my sister came up with for me in high school when I didn't really have any username ideas. And it was just like really picked on a whim. And it's still like really cute and a part of me. And just because it's not my channel name anymore, it's not like it's not the death of it. It's the closing of that chapter, but that chapter again is like existing forever in that past. Now that I'm a full-time creator, it gets really confusing why it's Piper Blue or what cat creature or like that I'm the same person, as well as brands when I'm trying to find work now, trying to make it as a self-employed person. It's really confusing. The other reason why I always sort of ran away from using my full name is going to be opening up this whole other can of worms. I forgot I'm supposed to be getting ready at the same time so that you can have something stimulating to see while I'm talking. What is a name? For me, names don't really represent one's identity. It represents a relationship and also maybe an idea. I love nicknames, and I also have like a bajillion names too. I respond to Anne. I actually went by that for a whole year in middle school. Annie, Anna, Annabella, Belle. Someone called me Belly. Piper. I don't think a lot of people know this. I actually go by Mia as well. I think it's fun. Now, before I go on, I want to say just a trigger warning for... Okay, Bambi. That is it. Can you play with the bag later? This is, for many of you, the first time you're ever hearing my last name, or you're like, wait, who is this on my subscription feed? All my life, I have despised my surname, and I'm kind of sick of that. I wanted to share these things, but it is a little bit serious at times. So, many of you also know I don't have the best relationship with my biological father, and I think for the longest time, I legit was trying to protect him for some reason. And a lot of things have been eye-opening to me lately, whether it's breakthroughs in therapy or talking to really good friends. That's made me realize just like everything that I'm still doing for other people and like living for other people and just how much that's harming me and my soul. I've wanted to draw my life for a long time, but I keep procrastinating because it just seems like a lot of work. But eventually I would like to try to tell my story in a sort of fun, sketchy drawing way. Long story short, my dad had custody during the divorce and walked out on us for a multitude of reasons. We were left with my grandparents at the time, and I had a really strong relationship with Yeye, which is my paternal grandfather. And I think like what's really traumatic about that event is that morning after my dad left was the last time I got to see my Yeye, and that's hard. Most of you have only seen 外婆外公, but Yeye was like my most important person existing in my life when I was a young child. I could barely remember my mom actually because the divorce happened when I was only 3, and Yeye was the person I clung on to the most as like my tether of safety growing up. Having that person vanish as a result of what my dad did was actually like much more traumatic. It's not even the worst part that my dad did something wrong. It's the fact that he doesn't own up to it, and that he still doesn't even own up to it to this day. And that's why for 20 years I have decided to try to ignore my surname because I don't want anything to do with him. And it's weird because recently I've been trying to keep in touch with him more as I'm growing up. I'm trying to be the bigger person, and dude, like, it's just weird because I realize I'm just trying to be over compassionate, and I like call them up, they wouldn't answer, and then call me later, weeks later, and clearly not be interested, promise things that they don't follow up on, and I'm just like, oh, it's okay, like, he's just like a disappointing person and I don't have to get mad. And I was calling my friend Amy, who was like, wait, Annabelle, you being angry about this is so valid. If you respect yourself and you know that you don't feel good about this, you don't have to be okay and say like, oh, I don't feel anything. What he's doing is not okay. I was just trying to run away from any sort of negative emotion, and I try to rationalize the situation as much as possible so that I don't have to feel pain. I'm like, okay, cool, like, I don't take it personally. Another thing I'm learning is that, hey, this name is mine too now. First, it belonged to my ancestors and before it ever belonged to my dad, so I shouldn't let that association ruin it for me and make me feel like I'm ashamed of my legal name and identity because of him. I can't really control his conduct, his attitude to this day, but I can control reclaiming that part of me. Not really like reclaiming the fact that I'm using my legal name, but like reclaiming my attitude towards myself and like hearing Annabelle Gao. Because I used to feel yikes when I would hear that. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And I think that there's definitely a level of subconscious inferiority complex as well that came about when I moved to America from China in elementary school and really wanting to assimilate and be Americanized. I wish I had a last name that sounded like a name in America and not like a syllable that no one can pronounce because it's Gao, right? But everyone will say Gao or Goa or Guo. Now, coming back to the topic of, hey, I changed my channel name. It's still me. I still have the same passion for vlogging, and if anything, I just want to be more myself and be better. So I'm not departing from Cat Creature because of any reason of departing from the kind of content I'm making. I do have some regrets for college, but I don't want to call it regrets, rather if I could do things differently. Like, I'm kind of realizing how much I suffered from social anxiety, and I wasn't even aware of it because I didn't want to talk about it. When my mom dropped me off to school, I cried right when she had to leave, and it was because I was so scared of being there alone, not knowing anyone, and no one's gonna like me, and I'm not gonna make any friends, and that's how I felt. And I just remember how like helpless and small I felt on that hill, and she was like, no, Mimi, like, you're so likable, you're gonna make friends, don't worry. I know, I shouldn't have worried. I should have just try to be myself and have a more open heart, but I think I was so afraid of being hurt that, you know, I wouldn't sit with people. I would go to my room. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be by yourself. My personal reason for that was because I think I was so afraid of being left out that I consciously chose to walk out. I actually have a handful of really good friends I cherish right now from school. I just think that my overall experience emotionally would have been better because I deserved that, but I put it on myself to feel so anxious. Like at my 20th birthday, when my friends came over, I didn't know them that well at the time, and I literally felt such imposter syndrome, and I felt like everyone was coming over just because they felt bad for me. And why? It was like my birthday, and it was my birthday party, but like, sad Annabelle like had to do that, you know? With how socially anxious I am, I actually have a lot of good friends and long-term relationships, so high five. I love all my friends. If you're watching this, please, you're a gem, for real. If I was like, what's that guy, the purple one from Marvel? All of the gems, the power stones, they're my friends. What is his name? It's not Thor. Something is coming. Something is coming. Thanos is coming! I understand if you cringed. And right now, who am I trying to make a meaningful connection with? Myself. I'm trying to befriend myself because I know I'm an awesome friend, but I'm like the worst friend to myself. Is it hard to make friends in New York? I haven't really tried yet, but Thank you for reaching out to me, all of my viewers here in New York that want to hang out with me. I genuinely want to meet and hang out with you too. Like, let's go to the museum. Just like in Toronto, I still keep in touch with friends that I hung out with that day, and I'm so grateful. You have no idea how grateful I am to like know people, and YouTube like really brought you into my life. I know it can get bad really fast if something dangerous happens, and that's why I'm trying to be very careful. I'm also trying to make myself into a deadly weapon through martial arts, and again, just trying to be discerning. I've been so busy hanging out with people I already know. I'm so excited though to like make friends who actually live near me though, because we always have to commute to each other. I do miss having that friend that's just like, you know, they might live close to me and we can just run errands and have no agenda together. Why are you in New York City? I think it's just an awesome place to be as an artist. Maybe I'm still new and it's gonna wear off, but you have no idea how this compares to a suburb where the only thing really near me immediately, a Joann's, Michael's, Safeway, and a gas station, and some schools and parks where people smoke pot under the benches and stuff. Like, that's all there was. Northern California is so much about tech that it also just drains my soul. It's harder when you also have to drive everywhere, and that leads to the next question. How are you liking the city life? I actually think I'm pretty suited for it. At least right now, I'm young and I feel built for it. I love walking everywhere and being really active, and in college I had to walk a lot too. Like, just to get to class I would climb 5 flights of stairs. I really enjoyed not having to consciously not have a sedentary life, you know what I mean? Because you just naturally have to walk and carry things and go upstairs. I've always been a hyper kid growing up and actually very energetic and physical. It's just that I didn't have any sports I loved, so I just stopped. I couldn't channel any of that when I was little, and I thought that like it was too late for me to try a sport because I would be behind, and I was so scared of being bad at something. So now as an adult, I'm like unlearning that perfectionism and trying new things and being bad at them, but the energetic soul from inside glows when I do get to be like, I don't know, rambunctious. When I'm getting around the city, I love to walk fast, but it's not because I'm like late or I feel like my time is more important than other people's. I'm like, oh, I have places to be. It's like I don't have any place to be, but I just really like, if I could jog, I will jog. I wear my running shoes outside. I will walk and climb the escalator or climb down the escalator because I'm like, ooh, I'm very energetic. With my mom, I was like, oh, come on, and I would be like running down the stairs, and she's like, oh, I am not used to the pace of life here. Is New York City overly romanticized? I feel like romanticizing something is just a habit of idealistic people for escapism and whatnot. So it's not just New York that's romanticized. It's like every big city, or even like growing up, I romanticized the white picket fence of suburbia. Every place has its problems and nothing is gonna be picture perfect, but there are really awesome parts of the city, and it's also super relative to your perspective on life, because one person might get really bored and another person might feel like that's their paradise. I have gotten to see the city just a little bit more, not as much as I'd like, but I'm taking my time because I do plan to be here for at least a few years. What about my apartment? Are you gonna have a makeover soon? I have put my foot down this week and decided I am going to start decorating. A part of me was so afraid of starting to decorate because I thought, like, if I'm gonna live here for a good amount of time, that means I have to paint the walls exactly how I'm gonna want it. I have to make no regrets, and it has to look perfect on the first try. I'm going to keep some of the white walls so that the light can really bounce around in here, but I do want to decorate and like paint some of them because I'm allowed to. The person before actually painted everything in this place, and management painted everything white, and I could see through the little cracks the colors before. Like, the bathroom was a minty green. I'm just never gonna get anything done if I'm continuing to be intimidated. Like, I have to start when I feel ready. None of the conditions are going to be perfect. You just gotta jump in and start doing it. I named the apartment Jardin Bleu. I feel like that would be a really cute theme for this place. No idea where that's gonna take me, but I do know that it's going to be sort of like whimsical and silly. Sometimes I'm also indecisive and I want to go for a more contemporary look, and then I also love this and like the aesthetics. I'm not sure if they mesh, but I might just try meshing those because what the hell, life is too short. What do you value as an adult that you didn't as a kid? curiosity. It's sort of like the concept of the Little Prince, like when adults grow up and they think that they have to shed all of that and keep only what's essential because that's how they survive and whatever. I'm learning to nurture the inner spirit child in me again, because I think that drives a lot of my art and I don't want that to die out. I got a couple of really random questions that I thought I will segue into. Why is Benedict Cumberbatch so hot? Although he says, oh, I know I'm not the most attractive guy, people find him handsome. Hey, I find him handsome, okay? But he's like, I know I have a horse face. Benedict is kind of hot because of his deep, soothing voice that some of us appreciate. Above all of those superficial things, BC is hot to me because he is so good at being himself. He finds what he's good at or what he loves doing, his life's work. At least my impression is that aside from spending time with his family, being a father, he doesn't linger on like what the world must think of him. I can really sense that passion, and I love seeing someone being good at what they do. I think it's just that energy and that magnetism that makes him so hot, as well as his funny personality when he does show up on interviews and whatnot. Would you ever get a dog? I totally would love to get a dog, but it would have to be in a house where the cats have space, the dog has a yard. But I have wanted a German Shepherd since I was 12. Prairie and Bambi just started reconnecting again and really loving each other, and it feels great. So no way am I going to introduce a dog into the mix when things are still kind of fragile and turbulent, like maybe in several years. Okay, we're finally nearing the end. Some more random questions. Do you have a hunchback? I don't really, because I'm trying to be conscious about my posture all the time, and I sit on a stool. I just try to have my back up straight. Lastly, what's the update on roller skating and martial arts? So roller skating, I can balance on one foot a lot longer. I feel really stable. It used to take me 40 minutes to feel warmed up. Now maybe like 15 minutes. And I just attempted crossing over again when I turn. I'm still kind of like feeling scared, but I'm giving it time because like I don't want to push myself to be too uncomfortable, because I realize the more time I give to practicing, the more comfortable I am with attempting it without actually feeling like that pang of fear and anxiety and adrenaline. With martial arts, I am getting better. My form is still kind of I just got my own collie sticks. I can only use one at a time right now. I'm not allowed to film anything in class. It's written in the policy. But maybe if I attend any open practice sessions, I can just film myself a little bit in the corner. For the most part, I'm learning Jeet Kune Do. I've signed up for Muay Thai once. That was super intimidating to like kick people and get kicked and like kick each other in the neck and kick each other in the thighs and then spar and stuff. So it was a little bit intimidating because I really suck at the form. So I felt a little bit embarrassed. However, I made myself do it. I signed up for it. I'm going again this week, and I'm going to just take it. Like, I don't have to be that self-conscious. Who do you think you are? Like, no one really cares. It was so much more physical demanding that it was like a really good workout, and I sweat so much, and it's so much kicking. So that's all for me today in this Q&A. I expected it to be quick, but that did not happen. Thank you for sharing your day with me. I will be back this weekend. I just filmed the video and I'm editing it right now about like talking about mental health, and it's a little more about self-love and how I feel about gaining confidence. I'm really grateful for your support and your interest. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.